to the next one. Let's talk about South Carolina versus North Carolina. We already talked about this a little bit. We got them Shane Beamer feet for free, which was interesting to see. I still can't. Not necessarily. I don't want to dwell on it too much, but have you seen anything like that? I'm not tripping, right? I've covered college football and I've watched college football for a long time. When was the last time you saw that kind of access on a coach in season?
Never. I can't tell you.
Very unique. Very weird. Anyways, let's talk about it. South Carolina versus North Carolina. North Carolina, a 2-point favorite in this football game. And I got a new rule. Okay, I got a new rule on this here program. Listen close. Okay, if you're a football team in which the point spread is less than a touchdown, okay, and you can't block, I'm not picking you. I'm not picking you. I don't care how good your quarterback play is. I don't give no shits about nothing. If you are in a tight football game, if we are going in and it's a coin toss and you have no offensive line or you have a history of not being able to block, we ain't taking you. We are not putting money on you. We will not pick you. Okay, so keep me consistent on this the rest of the time. We ain't doing it. If it's a coin toss, we're going the other way. Did you know that North Carolina has allowed 40-plus sacks in each of the 4 years under Mack Brown? 40. That's a lot, bro. And guess what? Replacing a receiver like Josh Downs is hard enough. It really is, okay? And if you didn't watch North Carolina play last year, you may not understand this. But Josh Downs just didn't have any normal 95 receptions for 1,000-plus yards. It wasn't just your average, hey, that guy's out there, we'll throw him a slant or we'll throw him a fade ball or we'll just target him. No. Josh Downs saved them from an additional 15 sacks last year, okay? Because when you have run-throughs and blow-throughs, you know what you need? You need a receiver that's always open and is open immediately. That's exactly what Josh Downs was last year. I would say about 30% of their offensive snaps were downset hut, getting into Josh's hands as soon as possible because Drake's about to get hit. That was their entire offense. And now guess what? Josh Downs is not there. Now, they did a good enough job of replacing people. I think they got 2 guys out of the portal that were not Josh Downs, but they're Josh Downs light, right? Montrez Walker, the kid from, who was the team that the Golden Flashes last year that gave Georgia some fits? Kent State, kid from Kent State, Montrez Walker, one of the biggest additions out of the portal, or availabilities, I should say, out of the portal. Nate McCollum, kid from Georgia Tech, guess what? Gave Georgia problems too last year. So extremely talented football players at that slot receiver position and having an attempt or an ability to replace the issues that were, or the void left, rather, by Josh Downs. But this is a football team that has perennially had a problem keeping their quarterback upright, and that's a problem, okay? South Carolina should win this football game because they won't be completely outmatched at the quarterback position. The only way North Carolina is going to overcome these deficiencies on the offensive line is if their quarterback is that much more special than the guy on the other side, okay? And though they're not going to play each other face-to-face, rep-to-rep, that's what it becomes a lot of the times. North Carolina in a shootout, okay, against the other dude. And guess what? I mean, we can say what we want about Spencer Rattler, but he's not going to be overmatched entirely in this matchup on a college football field, okay? The number one thing you will hear about Dow Loggins is his ability to meet his guys in the middle. The new offensive coordinator for South Carolina, right? Dude, I think a lot of people might have misconstrued how good Spencer Rattler was at Oklahoma when he was in a nice, simple offense. The year he was replaced, did you know that dude completed 75% of his passes?
Yeah, it was just because he got benched because they were getting smoked by Texas.
Yeah, that's it. Dude got benched and couldn't hold off Caleb Williams by completing 75% of his balls. Like, I know last year was rough. Multiple turnover football games. He had 4 multiple turnover football games. 18 touchdowns to 12 interceptions is replaceable. That's the kind of performances that get you replaced by any other standard in any other metric. That's not good quarterback play. Did not look great last year. There were drastic inconsistencies in his play, and there was obvious discomfort in that offense under Marcus Satterfield. But like I started with, Dow Loggins, listen to anybody that's ever played under him. He is the definition of a player's coach. You will hear people take stabs at his performance as an offensive coordinator. You will hear people take stabs at the fact that he's a former fired NFL coordinator, that he didn't survive there, that the reason he is here is because he has failed his way back down to the NCAA. People will tell you that. But guess what they will also tell you if you do any research? Every guy that's ever played for him freaking loves that dude. You know why? Because he meets him in the middle. And if we're going to meet a quarterback in the middle, we might increase his chances to have success, right? He's not going to ask guys to play in a box. He's going to sit down, and he has all offseason. He said, hey, Spencer, what's going to make you feel comfortable? How do we get back to getting you to complete 75% of your balls? Because if you complete 75% of your balls in the SEC, by God, we're going to be great. We're going to be a great football team. How do we do that? All right, so I think Spencer Rattler is going to have not necessarily a rescindance year. Okay, I'm not talking about a Heisman contender. I'm not talking about that. But he's not going to have 18 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. You're going to see a guy that's much, much more comfortable. And by the way, I know it's a propaganda season and it's a talking season, but the word out of South Carolina is that dude is playing lights out right now. Spencer Rattler is. So my prediction is South Carolina by a touchdown. Little Spencer Rattler trivia for you. Did Spencer Rattler have more tackles on interceptions last year or rushing touchdowns?
Well, since you're asking,
Yeah, that's
I'll
such
take
an
the
obscure
tackles.
question. I'm going to say tackles.
See, I tricked you. It was really close, though. He had 2 tackles last year on his 12 interceptions, so 1 out of every 6.
Okay.
He's making the play. High effort guy. That's a bring your lunch pail type dude on the pick 6 and statistics.
Yeah,
But he had 3 rushing touchdowns last year, so
Okay.
not necessarily a dynamic weapon, which I think was the main reason he got pulled at Oklahoma. It was that Caleb Williams is great. They're down, a lot of points to Texas.
They need a home run.
All that stuff. Yeah, but it was the fact that Oklahoma's run game was so staggered because they didn't have an addition at the quarterback position from a run count situation that he had to get replaced. But yeah, I got South Carolina by a touchdown in that football game, despite the fact that we found out that our boy Shane Beamer be walking out with the toes out, feet for free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this is going to be a shootout. I think there's going to be a lot of points put up in this game just because you got 2 dudes at quarterback, 2 dudes that really like to take the deep shot, make the big plays. But I think South Carolina takes the dub.
Just talking dudes and deep shots. What you got?
When it comes down to when you get into shootouts, it kind of depends on who you believe in more at quarterback. And I just think Drake May is a better quarterback than Spencer Rattler. The sample size for him is too small. Everyone talks about the last 3 games of the season where he looked really good. And, yeah, he did. But like you said, 18 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. I think that's a lot more of what he's like. So I'm going to go.
Dude, I think even in that stretch, there was still a 24 for 49 game in there. In that last 3-game stretch for Spencer. He completed 66% of his balls last year, which is still hot, but it wasn't elite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would say North Carolina wins a close one, 965 to 940.
Oh, it's a turn the sliders
There's
down
no
type
defense
of game
in this
on
game.
that.
There will be no defense play.
No.
Yeah, it's out there with that Stetson Bennett glitch type vibes, bro.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.